Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to attend this press conference. This is a very important press conference, and I'll explain why it is so. Already somebody asked me what is new from this compared to what is published 2 years ago. So I'll explain what it is. English and Tamil mix பண்ணி பேசுறேன். So the ICMR INDIAB study, this is a national study. As you know, you already know about ICMR INDIAB study, India Diabetes Study. So that's why it's called as INDIAB study. It is funded by the Indian Council of Medical Research and the Government of India. It's a completely government funded study. There is no pharma or any other commercial organization involved in it. It's a study done in every state of India, in every union territory of India, and in every island of India. So it has been completed. Such a study has never been done. It's the world's largest epidemiological study on diabetes ever done in the world. So we are very happy that it took about 12 to 13 years to complete the study, because it had to be done in every part of India, in every state, every union territory, every island, including Andaman, Nicobar, Daman, Diu, Lakshadweep, everywhere, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Leh, everywhere, Manipur to Nagaland to Mizoram. Now, since the study was done in phases, you can't do such a big, it's like a continent, you cannot study like that in one phase. So the funding also came in phases. So we first finished 4 states, then we finished 15 states. Then when the whole study was completed, you are quite right, 2 years ago, we published and we had a press conference, which is a mega press conference. In fact, 87 people attended that press conference, including all the international press also attended, right from BBC to all the international press attended, because it was the largest study ever done in the world. So that paper, which was published in Lancet Diabetes Endocrinology, described the prevalence of diabetes in different states of India. What it is in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Gujarat, Mizoram, and every other place in India. And it also gave the numbers of people with obesity in India, hypertension, blood pressure, and also pre-diabetes, cholesterol, how many people had cholesterol. Only the numbers were given. The causes of that, what led to that, there were big differences. For example, in the state of UP and in Bihar, the prevalence of diabetes was 4.8% to 5%. In Kerala, in Goa, and in Puducherry, it was 25-26%. So in one state of India it's 4%, in another state of India it is 25%, 26%. So it opened our eyes that India is not just uniform in everything, there is so much of heterogeneity. Now why is it so different? Why did Kerala have 25-26%, whereas UP and Bihar had only 4%? That is what the next phase of the research is coming on. So we looked at various things. One of the things very important is diet, what people eat. For example, is rice related to the high prevalence of diabetes? What about the wheat eating states of India? Where is rice consumed? Where is wheat consumed? And is it related to obesity? Is it related to diabetes? Then we looked at, so this is a complete dietary profile, and that is what we are presenting here today. No study in India had looked at detailed diet in every state of India, let alone link it to diseases. So here we have linked it to diabetes, to blood pressure, to cholesterol levels, which vary. For example, between Kerala and Tamil Nadu, there is almost 40-50 milligram difference in mean cholesterol. The mean cholesterol in Tamil Nadu is about 180, in Kerala is 230. We don't know why. Is it due to the coconut oil taken there, or is it due to groundnut oil being taken here, it may be. So that is what this particular paper is looking into. Now, Nature Medicine is among the top journals in the world, and when they got to know about this, that we are doing such a study, they actually approached us and said, can you publish the whole diet data of India in our journal? We are actually invited, saying, can you, very difficult to get a paper into Nature Medicine. In fact, to be very honest, in my 50 years of research, this is the first paper in Nature Medicine where Dr. Anjana is the first author and I am the last author of a paper in Nature Medicine. I don't think very few people in India have managed to get in any field a paper into Nature Medicine. Here they invited us and said we would like to know about the study. So even before the paper was completed, they wanted to tell them what the study is about, and we told them that what the study was about. They were very excited. They said, please reserve this, we want to publish this paper. And then it took a lot of writing. It's a massive paper because total India we have the data. North India, South India, East India, West India, Central India, Northeast India, we have got different data, and Dr. Anjana will make the presentation now. So you can compare regions of India. If you want each state within India, you take South India, and then you take Andhra, Telangana, Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, you take that. We have separate data for that. Within North we have separate data. Within Northeast we have different data. So state-wise we have men, we have women, we have urban, we have rural, we have state-wise, we have country, we have region, we have. Such a study has never been done anywhere in the world, in my opinion, because whenever we do studies of this type in other countries, they'll take one place there, one place here, some sampling they will do. Here we have studied the whole country. That is why this paper is very important. You may wonder why we are having the press conference today. Because the paper is being published today. And the journal wrote us only 4 days ago. We've been asking journal when is it coming, because before that we cannot talk to the press. It's embargoed. So it is embargoed. I want to tell you that also. This paper is embargoed until 2:30 p.m. India time. So we cannot write before 2:30 p.m. Okay, if we leave it today, then we get into Ayudha Puja and Gandhi Jayanti and Vijayadashmi, and it gets delayed by so many days. And by the time they would have also sent out some press releases and so on, since we did the whole study. So what is our role? What is NDRF's role? We are the national coordinator for the whole study. So the entire INDIAP study, every state had one principal investigator from that state. The leader of that state was the leader for that particular state study. Gujarat would have one, Maharashtra will have one, Punjab will have one. So each one world leader was there in that. One PI and one co-PI. Then the entire study in that particular state was done by field investigators of that state, because they have to talk that language. They have to talk in Gujarati, Punjabi, Manipuri language, all those we cannot go and do that. But we were the national coordinator for the whole study. From the beginning till the end, we were the coordinator. The entire quality control was done by us. The training was done by us. All the investigators from every state came to MDRF and did all the training here, and then they went back to their state. We went there with them. Our big team, all the people sitting in this room, they're all the investigators in the study. They all went to each and every state, including Lakshadweep, Andaman, Nicobar, everywhere, every state, Nagaland, we have been there. So we were holding hands with them, we were assuring the quality of the study throughout. Why I am explaining all this is, it is not an ordinary study. It's a truly extraordinary study of a type which has never been seen. So therefore, since everything is done in a standardized manner, the entire diet was done, of course, with their collaborators from each state. It was done by our team. Sudha Vasudevan is here. She is the head of food and nutrition at MDRF. She and her team who are sitting here painstakingly went through what every individual was eating, carefully tested using internationally accepted standards. Not using just one questionnaire, but food frequency questionnaires and recalls and what all standardized methods to assess diet. Quality control checked, and therefore the findings are of great interest. When the ICMR in-depth study was published, we had the press conference here 2 years ago, and somebody asked me, what did you present 2 years ago? That is just the numbers. How many people had diabetes, how many had obesity, how many had... That itself is one of the most quoted studies today in the world. Any conference you go, anywhere, India, abroad, ICMR in-depth, ICMR in-depth, ICMR in-depth, because such a study has not been done. As far as diet is concerned, we know, rice, maybe it is linked to diabetes. Small studies have been done, little in Chennai, something else, something. But this kind of a study has not been done. And therefore, what we are going to present to you today is truly something which is very novel. As I mentioned, it will be published online at 2:30 p.m. today by Nature Medicine. And they have given us the permission to present it to you today. But I hope the write-ups will come after 2:30 p.m. so that we don't break the embargo. And we are very happy to, it's very complex analysis, but we made it very, very simple for you so that you understand the relationship between diet and various diseases in this country. And this presentation will now be made by Dr. Anjana, who will take you through the study. And after the presentation is over, we will have question and answers.
Good morning, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to talk to you about the diet paper from the in-diet study. In India, the most interesting topic of discussion is always diet. You agree with me? Yeah, everyone wants to know, what can we eat, doctor? You go to Ayudha Puja, they'll give you prasadam. You go to Diwali, they'll give you food. You go to a wedding, they'll give you food. So in India, diet is one of the most important cultural issues that one can discuss. Now we also know that we have a lot of diabetes, obesity, NCDs in our country. Would you agree with me that diet is an important part of this increase in NCD risk all across the country? Yeah, so in 2023 we showed that there's a lot of NCD in the country. Today we are trying to explain how diet is explaining these increases that we are seeing in diabetes and other NCDs. So that's what we are doing here. ICMR in-diet study. This is a national study done on every state and union territory in India. The sample size for this study is more than 1 lakh individuals. These individuals have been sampled from every nook and corner of the country. So we have urban distribution, rural distribution, we have men, women, we have every corner of every state being studied. Now, from this sample of people is representative of India's 1.44 billion individuals. You look at the sample size, it sits exactly on the census of India. Now, if you follow the diet paper, we have taken every 5th individual and done detailed dietary assessments through food frequency questionnaires. And those are the results I'm going to show. The slides are not moving. Yeah. So here's what we show. Go to the previous one, please. We have data that talks about the carbohydrate or cereal consumption all over the country. So whether it is north, south, east, west, center or northeast, those are the divisions we have made of the country into those regions. You'll see that the number one element is carbohydrate intake. The national average that we are reporting for carbohydrate intake in the country is 62%. It's between 60 and 64% with variations across the regions, but the national average is 62% of everything that the Asian Indian eats is carbohydrate. And you can see the variety of carbohydrates that we choose to have. Next slide, please. So now we divide carbohydrate. We said carbohydrate is the main element that we have. Let's divide it into types of carbohydrate. So we know rice, okay, depicted here in white. We know that the southern region, 85%, 87% report primary cereal as rice. We have the northeast, 99% of people report white rice as their primary cereal. East, so this entire region is rice eating in the country. Now let's go to wheat. The brown areas here are the wheat consumption, and you'll see most of the northern, central, western regions are consuming, high consumers of wheat. But we also had the National Year of Millet, and there have been a lot of millet consumption. How much of millet and things do we consume? And I'll tell you in a minute. The consumption is so low that it's actually not very visible on this map. You'll see different colors here. Those are little millet consumptions. It's low all over the country, but I'll give you more details. In this, what you can see clearly is that one half of the country is entirely wheat, the other half is rice. So then you must ask me, everyone says rice is linked to diabetes, wheat is good for diabetes. So does that mean that the entire, this half of the country has high diabetes and this half is low? Is that how it's reported? No, it doesn't work that way. So it's not that rice is good, wheat is bad, right? It is overall a mix of everything that we eat. Next slide please. Someone asked before, do you have state-wise data? Here is the state-wise data of carbohydrate consumption in the country. No need to get confused. These are all the states, state by state. They are grouped into regions, north, south, east, west, all of the regions, we have grouped them. The first thing to see, and here you have total carbohydrate, refined cereal means rice, so 62% total carbohydrate. Of that 62%, almost 30% is rice. So rice is the main part of carbohydrate consumption in the country. Then we have wheat, and then we have sugar. So three subtypes we are giving: rice, wheat and sugar. Now given here, so these are all the lines for refined carbohydrate, rice, wheat, sugar given here. The first thing to note is that even within one region, let's take south, there is huge variability. The lines are not flat, all high, all low. It's not like that. First of all, within India there are regional differences. Within a region, it goes up and down. Some state has high sugar, some state has low sugar, some state has high rice. Inside one region itself, someone takes a lot of rice, someone takes a lot of wheat. So there is a lot of intra-regional variability. So that's all these graphs tell you here. Total carbohydrate is highest in the eastern region and lowest in the west region. Now who eats the most rice? I already told you, northeastern region consumes the most rice, and the least rice is by the northern region. So the northern region has the least rice here, but if you see the most wheat consumption, you will see it's in the central region. So the northeastern region has the highest rice and the central region has the highest wheat. That is what you have to understand. Now let's go to sugar. Sugar consumption. Let's talk about that in the next slide. The definition says that sugar should not be more than 5% of total daily intake. So how many states in this country are within the recommendations? Actually, 21 states are not within the recommendation. 21 states of India, and everybody asks, Doctor, why do we have so much diabetes? People are eating so much of sugar. 21 out of the 30 states that we have done eat more than the recommended sugar. North almost fully except one state, south except one, east, west, central, all states, and in the northeast, most of the states have low sugar consumption except one. So this is about the sugar. Now we'll go back to the millet consumption. Remember we said rice and wheat, I showed you clearly on the map, and I said millets I'll show you later. Here are the states that have high millet consumption. In our country, only 3 states had more than 30% of the population reporting millet as a major cereal. These states are Karnataka, Gujarat and Maharashtra. So while we talk so much about millets, actually the consumption is not as much as we would like it to be. Only 3 states have high millet consumption. So that's it about the carbohydrate. Overall high, rice is extremely high, especially in the northeastern region. The wheat is also there in the central region. Sugar consumption is high, and only 3 states have millet high consumption. We now move on to fat intake. Now this follows the same schema as the carbohydrate, but these are all fats. So again here you have 3 important parts here. One is the total fat intake, but the most important one is saturated fat. So what is saturated fat? That's the fat that's found in all your fried chicken and samosas and all of the saturated fat. You'll see a lot of consumption in certain states. So that is very high. Mufa is a good fat, okay, and that's supposed to be high. In our country it's not. And the last one is PUFA. So these are the subdivision. Total fat intake is within generally 30%, within 30% you should have total fat. What is India's average? 25. So okay, fat consumption is within. But look at saturated fat, and I'll talk about that in a minute. We'll move to the next slide. So the saturated fat consumption is like this. The recommendations say for cardiometabolic health, you should have consumption of less than 7% of saturated fat. This is for metabolic health. Saturated fat less than 7%. Okay. Now all states, the saturated fat was more than recommendation, except in these 4 states in the country. Only 4 states have saturated fat consumption within the recommendation. Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Arunachal and Manipur. Every other state in the country extremely high saturated fat consumption. We also have very low MUFA consumption, which is the healthy fat. So unhealthy fat is very high. The healthy fat is very low. So this is the state of fat intake in India. So what have we achieved so far? We have said that overall carbohydrate is very high, wrong type of carbohydrate, wrong type of fat. This is how the country is moving. Now let's go to protein. So if you look at protein consumption, again the same type of graph, but these are all now protein. People talk about plant protein, animal protein, dairy protein and total protein. The overall protein intake in our country is low. It's low compared to what we should be taking. We should take about 20% protein in the diet for health. What do we take? We take 12%. So the protein intake is extremely low. Of the 12%, mostly India consumes plant protein. Almost 9% of that 12 is plant. So vegetarian protein is what mostly people consume, especially in the central parts of the country. You will see that they consume a lot of the vegetarian proteins that we have. Dairy, milk protein. How much is that? That's 2%. Very high consumption in northern parts of the country. Very high dairy consumption in the north. Animal protein. This includes chicken, fish, egg. The highest consumption of animal protein is in the northeastern region. Now I'm going to put a lot of this together. In the northeast, I told you they had the highest rice consumption, but they also have the lowest diabetes prevalence, and that is because they are substituting with protein. If you see in the country, they have the highest protein intake. So even if you take increased carbohydrate, if you take a lot of protein, especially plant protein, a lot of it, you can bring down your diabetes risk. And that is the story that we are slowly trying to show. Next please. So we now have enough dairy protein, which is good for us. Overall consumption of protein is very, very high. Only the northeastern region consumes high carbohydrate but high protein, so they get protected from diabetes. Replacing 5% of carbohydrate with protein, which is either plant or dairy, has the lowest risk of diabetes and obesity. These have a lot of policy implications. Our public health strategy, in our public health distribution systems, if you go to the ration shops, what is it we get? We get rice, we get sugar, and we get oil. Are those the things that India needs right now? No. So we need a change in this. We need practical, sustainable approaches to decrease carbohydrate and increase good quality protein. We need healthier edible oils which are low in saturated fat. Our PDS systems need to start selling pulses and legumes. dairy, things like that. Increase availability of protein sources which are affordable. Protein sources are today very, very expensive in our country.